everyone, it's Lisa back at you with some of my favorite money saving tips when using Color Street nails. Now, I know I'm not completely centered here, but I wanted you to be able to see my workspace. And I'm going to start off with a little disclaimer. So when you open up your Color Street package and you take out that nail prep pad and your file and your strips, you're going to see inside the package there is a little note, and that note says, one-time use only, do not reseal. So Color Street is guaranteeing their polish, 100% real nail polish. It's guaranteed. You've got a return policy, all of that good stuff. But if you want to save money, I like to do a few little cost-cutting measures. This is not sanctioned by Color Street. It's only guaranteed the very first time you open up your package, and they're guaranteeing that those strips are going to be sticky and ready to use. But, you know, what do you have to lose? If you want to try this along with me, it's worked well for me, and I'm going to share those tips with you. So, like always, we're going to start off every manicure by cleaning the nail with an alcohol prep pad. So if you've used your strips already and you use the alcohol prep pad and you don't have one now, just grab a cotton ball with some isopropyl alcohol or buy a little box of those alcohol prep pads and have some spares on hand. All right, we're all dry and we've gotten all the oil off. So what I'm going to do first is show you that my nails are not all that long. A couple are a little bit longer than others. So what I like to do is when I open up my pack, I have 16 strips of color. I'm going to pick the right size for my fingers. I'm going to go ahead and peel off the cover, lift the gray tab, take the tab away. Now notice, I am reusing some strips that are several weeks old. This is my little tool. I am going to take this right now and I'm going to cut it in half. And for this particular pair, the second half sticks to the scissors, which is really ideal because that's keeping it clean. So I'm going to take this half strip. I'm going to position it just like I always do. I've got to lift it one time. All right, left, right, and then I'm going to use my thumbnail to crease. Remember, always do your thumbs last. That thumbnail is the best tool you can find. If you don't want to use your thumb, you can use an orange stick. The pack comes with a file. I prefer to use my thumbnail. So that nail is done. And now I'm just going to take the second half off of my scissors and I'm going to match it up to the opposite hand. And I'll pick this shorter nail since I cut it a little short. Fold over the tip, break it off with my thumbnail. And now I've done two fingers with one strip. So now you can imagine that your package is going to last twice as long. So my first tip is cutting the strip in half after you've peeled both sides. I like to do that. So another tip I have is for me, for my sets, this largest one is really too wide for my nail. But no problems. I'm just going to, I'll use the same color. I'm going to take that wide nail and I'm just going to use my scissors again and I'm going to trim it down just, I don't know, like maybe 1/8 of an inch, something like that. And so now this strip is going to fit my thumb. If I'm short, let's say even for my pinky, I'm just going to trim it some more. So make use of every nail in the pack. Don't assume that, well, that's a big one or a little one. In fact, these itty bitty ones for me are too small even for my pinky. But guess what? You turn those sideways and cut them. You can do usually 3 nails when you do a pedicure because, you know, you're when you're doing your pedicure on your last 3 toes, you don't usually have a super long nail. Just turn it sideways and cut it up. So trimming what you have to fit is another way to cut cost. Now, the next tip I have for you, number 3, is the good old flat iron. Now, this could be a flat iron. It could be a food saver. I've even seen people use a lighter. But for me, the flat iron works perfectly. So when you are all finished, you're going to take those strips, whatever's left. Remember, don't get rid of those tiny ones or those big ones. Just put everything right back into the bag. Try not to leave it out too long. Like, you know, if you're going to take half an hour doing your manicure and, you know, really, I'm not sure what, but taking your time, or maybe you've got some distractions that you have to deal with. What I like to do is just pull out the strips I know I'm going to use and then go and seal this thing right away. So put it right back into the package that it came in. Let your flat iron get hot, and you're going to hold it onto the edge of that package. And most people recommend that you flip it over and do it a second time. The plastic on the outside does not melt to your flat iron, so I don't have any, you know, sticky residue or anything here. I'm not sure why, but, you know, what difference does it make to me? So I'm just sealing it up. You'll see a little bit of steam created, and then I flip it over and I seal it up one more time. You're going to know when you have a nice, good seal. Another thing with your food sealer, you know, like when you can reseal chip bags and things like that, just put that edge into the sealing, I guess it's a little heat element, and seal that up, because what we want to do is prevent air from getting in. Now, the last thing that I can tell you about cost cutting is there have been times when I've reopened my package and I got out the nail strip and it just was not as sticky as it was the first time I used it. Now, that's going to happen every once in a while. Maybe you didn't get a good seal, or, you know, I don't even know. But when that happens, I just say, yeah, okay, it didn't work this time. And I toss those away, and then I go ahead and open up a new pack. But that's only happened to me once, and I've been using these for, let's see here, it's going to be 5 months now. So in 5 months, I've had one set that I reopened, and it just wasn't sticking anymore, so it had to just be thrown in the trash. And even if you are saving, let's say I just have this guy left, I can throw it in on a package, and maybe I can cut this with scissors and make a straight line and do a little diagonal fancy nail. I can even use it to repair an edge. So if I have an edge that's wearing and the rest of the manicure looks great, I'll pop out this little baby guy and I'll just fix up that edge. I was, of all things, bathing the dog and clipping the dog's nails, and I squeezed it, and I caught hold of my own manicure and made a little divot into my nail, and this was with a tool. And yeah, came home, took this, just sealed right over that little damage that I had done, and it looked good as new. Now, the last thing that I can tell you is a lot of us like to do this. I have taken all my leftover sets, and I put them in a Ziploc. Other people use boxes or whatever. But I seal this guy up, and I put it into my freezer. Again, I don't know the science behind it. I'm not sure why this is working so well. But I have seen stylists talk about nail sets that they have put away. Let's say they bought a holiday set, like maybe they bought Valentine's nail sets. Well, you don't want to wear it year round. But then when the next Valentine's came around, they got out their freezer set. Now you have to let them come back to room temperature. If you use them cold, they're not going to stick. So they let them come back to room temperature, and they put on a Valentine set that they had stored away for a year. So there are quite a few ways that you can save a little cash, make your strips last longer. I swear by it. I think it's a fun way to also do a mixed manicure. If I have a couple of purples left over, I can mix them up with maybe a pastel pink and have a fancy nail, especially those glitters. It's always fun to throw on a glitter nail on that ring finger, or some people use the paper punch cutouts that you use like with scrapbooking, and you punch out a design and stick it onto your manicure. Watch a YouTube on that because you definitely need to punch after you take away the clear seal. But yeah, there's all kinds of fun things you could do. So if you want to save a little bit of cash, if you want to make your nail set last longer, then try these 4 tips, and I think you'll have the same luck that I do, which is good luck. So we'll see you here another time. Bye.